Okay, let's start. Allow me share my screen. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. You're welcome to this session. It is part of our series where we are discussing the power of God, part of our ultimate mastery, those who are seeking ultimate mastery. And today we have said we are discussing the power of God in faith and in belief. Two very related words, but we're going to see what the difference and where really to put our focus. We want to achieve our desires in this planet and ultimately in the next spirit-led world. Now, as we start off, I want you to remember the power of some of these words. Once again, I remember we refer a lot to the Bible as a book of faith. We refer to other books as well. But the Bible has a lot of lessons, even for those who don't believe in it. And this is what we're talking about. But for the enormous wisdom that the word has to carry. Now, in Matthew 17:20, we are told that faith can move mountains. Now, I want you to stop for a second and just think about it. Just think about a mountain that you know. And imagine the kind of lorry or grader or tractor that can move it. Have you ever seen such a grader or tractor, a plane, or a heavy machine? But we're being told that faith can move not just one mountain, but mountains. And I want you to put that at the back of your mind. Because by the time of the end, we understand what is this that can move mountains. So I thought we'd start this by going through a number of verses from the Bible about faith. Are you able to read? I will read so that we don't take a lot of time in the explanation. So I have a number of verses just on these two words, belief and faith. They are related, but also we need to understand what the difference between them. Now we are told in Matthew 21:22 that if you have faith, you will receive whatever you pray for. Now remember, faith leads you to pray. But prayer will not work if you don't have faith. Then in Luke 1:37, we are told that faith does not make things easy. When you have faith, it does not make things easy. It makes them possible. Remember, in all the topics we discussed, from the power of the invisible, the self-discovery, to the power of light, the power within, and the power of the invisible, we have said that masters, those who, if you remember, all humans are here to master their oneness with God in this planet, so that they can live as matured souls. Now, we have to understand that things are not always going to be easy. Challenges will happen. Just like we sit exams in our education, don't expect that things are going to be easy, but we're saying that faith makes whatever you intend possible, not that things will be easy. So it means that you must persist even through the difficulties for you to achieve that which you want. Of course, faith is also related to trust, and we are told in Proverbs 3:5-6 that trust in the Lord with all your heart. Don't rely on your own intelligence. Know Him in all your paths. Keep your ways straight. The people who promised to attend today, I picked only from the from the Bible, because the people who say they are attending today are mostly Christians, actually. But we do have a lot of, in my book, Becoming Ultimate Masters, we quote so many faiths from Buddhism, Islam, Hinduism, the Tao Te Ching, the Kabbalion, from even Torah, about some of these concepts, because we must understand these concepts for us to live as full true beings. So in 2 Corinthians 5:7, we are told that for we walk by faith, not by sight. I repeated this somewhere else. It's important to understand that we talked about the power of light, and that light brings clarity, and light is important. Even Jesus said, I am the light, among the I ams that he said. Now you need light to be able to see things, even in the invisible. But what is behind that light? For you to see and move towards those things, you must have faith. So light without faith is God. Light without faith might not yield you much. So faith is an important ingredient at the beginning of all our actions towards the full realm, our full achievement, especially as God beings. In 1 Corinthians again, 2:5, we are told that your faith should not be in the wisdom of men, but in the power of God. Remember, in Ultimate Mastery, we are talking about you want to achieve something, and we are telling you that you are one with that thing you want to achieve, because you are one with God, and God is the owner of all, and you are a child of God. Therefore, you have divine sonship. And since Jesus said you are a co-heir with Him, if you believe in Him or through Him. Therefore, those things are actually already yours. But for you to achieve them as yours, you must have faith, not as men believe, as men see things, but in the power of God. And we say the power is the real ingredient that makes God, because God is all the power in the world is God. It's God and gods, but it's being expressed through men. Now we must keep our eyes focused on that power of God. When you talk, when you have faith, it's not that you are basing on your own power, but on that power of God within you. That's why our main focus is to rediscover the power of God within you, because it's what is lost. Many people live like they are empty beings, they don't have God within them, or they are separate from God. Yet our very existence, even for 1 second, cannot be without God. But that power, like we said, power is like the real power here of electricity. If you don't switch it on, it won't switch on itself. If you don't transfer it from one point A to point B, it won't take itself there. It's you to exercise this power. Switch it on, exercise it, direct it, and make it act the way you want it to act. In Proverbs 3:5-6, I think this we are repeating, that trust in the Lord with all your heart. Do not depend on your own understanding. Seek His will in all you do, and He will show you which path to take. This again re-emphasizes that every time we talk about faith, it's not, you usually hear people saying, I believe in myself. That believe in yourself. We are told this in motivational circles. It's not wrong, it is correct, but only if you know that you have God with you, or you are God. You can't believe in yourself if you don't believe that you are God. So for you to believe yourself and achieve, you must first believe and know that you are actually God. You are a part of God. You are a divine spark of God. A part, whether you are the finger or the hair, but you are a part of God yourself, and you have God's power within you. And you are saying that power that you are going to depend on to achieve what you want should be the power of God, not the earthly power, the power that people see in the world and the people give to men. In John 20:29, we are told here that Jesus replied, Do you believe? Do you believe because you see me? Happy are those who don't see and yet believe. Now, belief is very important. Most of our waking lives, the lives we spend when we are awake, what we experience, we've been telling each other here that it is the result of what we believe. What you believe will always, even if you deny it, it will show. If you don't believe you can heal yourself, you will never heal yourself. If you don't believe you deserve money, you'll never get the money. If you believe you deserve only 2 million a month, it's what you get. And these beliefs are formed over time. Since you are born, what you have been being told, what you think, what you feel, what you take, what you acknowledge form your beliefs. And these beliefs are strong. But we are saying we must wake up to our true identity, our true being, and know who exactly we are. We are the I am. And that I am is God Himself. So we are part of God Himself. And part of our creation, we said in the power of the invisible, is that the knowledge that God says, my people perish because they lack knowledge. In Hosea 4:6, that you have the knowledge that you want with God. And when you want with God, you know that everything that you see physically, everything that you want to achieve starts from the spirit, starts from the nothingness, starts from the next opportunity thingness. And once you know that truth, once you know that absolute truth, that perfect truth, then you'll be able to believe. All people, I hear people call themselves believers, but I'm not sure whether because belief means that you don't depend on what you see. It told us that you must believe, not then believe. It is the order of things. So you cannot see it with the mind eye. You cannot see it before it materializes. Then it cannot be. The process of creation is such that we must believe. And when you believe, you have faith. And then you are able to see things before they can actually manifest. And that's the process of how we create. And in Hebrews 11:6, we are told that, and without faith, that is God. For he who comes to God must believe that he is, and that he is the rewarder of those who seek him. Now, there are many good verses in the Bible. It's why we are taking time to discuss even about faith and belief, that all the prayers we do, all the claim of light, all the claim of the power of the word, even if it's 1,000 words, we send words great. We said in our session on the power of the word. Even if you believe in the power of the invisible, without faith, nothing will happen. Because God cannot be perfect. If you have no faith, you fail. Why we want to, what is faith? So that we can master it and in us, so that we can achieve all that we want through Him. Proverbs 3:5-6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Sorry, if I don't say that. But the real definition of this belief, just to remind you, usually this is one of my favorite verses in the Bible, Mark 11:24. Of course, combined with remember, every time you read a verse in the Bible, you need to come 2 verses before and 2 verses next. So 11:24 and 25, which talks about forgiveness, and it's still important in the body of those who believe in God. But in 24, Jesus said, after they asked him, how should they achieve? He was telling them, believe and you will achieve. Remember in Matthew 7:7, seek, pray, ask and it shall be given, seek and you shall find, knock and it shall be opened unto you. So his disciples asked him, how do they achieve that? And this was part of his answering. And he said, therefore I tell you, whatever you ask for in prayer, believe that you have received it and it will be yours. And I want, brothers and sisters, for us to know all the things we are seeking in the world are residing within. All the things we seek in the world are residing within you. But you must believe that you have already received them before they can become reality. It is the law. That's why we are telling people think that they elect himself. And himself elected himself long ago. All people who become anything, they have believed and had faith that they have become long before for you to see it. The challenge with many people, they are so focused on the earthly, 5 senses that they always want to touch. They always want to touch something before, they're like the scientists. They want to Even they want first test before they can confirm there is malaria. There is this, there is money in your pocket. You tell someone I have money, they say, where is it? Now that is living less than we are meant to live. And I hope that you do remember and capture it. Direct, right? You must believe you have received. It is the basis of the law of assumption, it is the basis of all manifestation teachings, and the master himself, the master of masters, said, for you to achieve benefit, you must believe that it is yours already, and see it and have it, and then go up. It's how we create. We are going to talk about energy beyond what Jesus was saying. These things have been studied in metaphysics, quantum physics, and it seems that the power of thoughts as the main driver of energy and feelings do really bring things into being. And there are many exercises in the normal world, not in the bodily world, to meet this. And that's why when you become a master, you learn that what you learn in the spiritual world, they are found that all, masters, all sages have been telling us, even what is studied. But we must have the full knowledge. We must have the full understanding so that we can have the wisdom to act right accordingly to everything. We're saying that in understanding faith, the Lord of God, we say, we call upon God all the time. But what does our answers depend on? Even as we are sure that you have ask. So in Matthew here 8:13, and Jesus said to the centurion, remember that verse we talked about the other day? Go your way, and as you have believed, so it will be done to you. Remember when the centurion came, one of his servants was very ill, about to die. He came where he heard Jesus was, and when he came, Jesus said, let us go and heal him. And the centurion said, no, my Lord, you don't need to come. Just say a word, and my servant shall be healed. Jesus looked at his disciples, and they were there and said, this seems not faith, the word of that man. And the man said that because he's also a man of authority, he knows that when he says something, it becomes. So since Jesus has authority, he knew that when he says, let your servant be healed. And Jesus said, let it be done, let it be done to you as you have said, since you have believed it. So God is waiting for what we do, on the faith we have, what it is that we want. What us in so many books, in so many subjects, and some here, some 11, it says 6:11. You know who wrote the psalm? Thank you that teach me your way, Lord, that I may rely on your faithfulness. That God fulfills. Faithfulness is about the fulfillment. That I may rely on your faithfulness. Give me an undivided heart, that I may fear your name. And the fear we talk about here is about respect, is about reverence. That when actually you tune into God, when you're in God, when you're one with God, when you know your oneness with God, and you tune in, you know God can help you achieve everything. Everything is already there. There's nothing being created. Creation was done. It is you to believe and use your faith to get that which you want. But we are going to see what is that you need to do that we call faith. And here in Hebrews 11:1, I want to believe that everyone who follows the Bible at least knows this verse. He tells us the real definition of faith we talked about before. That now faith, this is Paul was explaining to that now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Faith is the substance of things hoped for. So whatever you want, all the desires you want to achieve, if you want them to become substance, remember substance is what you touch, what you can see. So you see those things that you want with your faith. You have not seen things, but you know they will happen. You have evidence of things not yet seen. That is faith. And that's what we are called how? That is what we are called perhaps if we are to manifest in this life like masters, if we are to master this life and be what we are supposed to be, what brought us here in this world to do. Because we are told here in Hebrews again 11:6, verse Hebrew 11, almost the whole Hebrew 11. Without faith, no one can please God. We already said this. The one coming to God must believe He exists, and He rewards those who come to Him seeking. It's the primary thing. And if we understood this simple, I don't know whether we call it mathematics or theology or whatever it is you want to call it, the simple formula. God expects you to know Him, to know that you're one with Him, and once you know that, you go to Him with faith, without any doubt. We must remove any iota of doubt when we go seeking anything before the Lord. So one clear thing is not really because of terms, but you see, at ultimate mastery, remember, we are not in the normal belief, we are not in the normal religion. We are saying we must rise beyond believing, and you will understand why many of us are stuck at that level where when we are believers, when after we are not believing, and we think we are faith. Sounds like us from Catholic Church, we even call it a Catholic faith. But is it really a faith? Do we have faith? Do we live by evidence? Like we have seen what faith is. So these things are very important that we understand them, because as we have said, we keep reminding this, that it is impossible to please God without faith. We must have faith. We don't go to God just talking, saying words, repeating mantras, praying Trans night. Doesn't impress God enough. So the ingredient you need to go with is faith. Like you're going to prepare a meal, the ingredients you need. So the key ingredient is faith. And we are saying there is a difference between believing in God, because you must believe, but your belief cannot stand if you don't have faith. Now, we are saying there is a difference. This is as a student also who has been studying and studying. I want to tell you, this was one of the biggest revelations that I've got in the difference between believing in God and believing in God. It is many things have been lost in translation. Many things that refer to belief and faith are the same. But you see, as a student, if you keep at believing only, I've never asked, for example, do you believe we are having this session? Belief has some level of doubt. Belief is at a level of doubt. Believing something, it means you're not sure that it is there. Yet faith is real evidence. We are called to be at the level of faith. And we are saying that if we want to go to believing in something, we have to believe in it. It's better to believe in God than to believe in Him. So that we can have, it means we have faith. They are simple words, but I believe you and I believe in you are not the same. And probably these verses, here we can be helped to understand this further. Now, in the scripture, remember, we have said in Hebrews 1:1, faith is defined as the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things unseen. So, in other words, faith involves trusting something you cannot explicitly prove. You not see it, but you know it is the way you want it, the way you see it. So faith is inseparable from trust. These are words in faith, trust I all use in the Bible. So it is the confidence that God can and will do what He says in His word. So if God says ask and it shall be given, when you ask, you must have faith, you must have the trust that God will do as He has said, that since I have asked Him, it is you are the player, you are the master. You have to master that play of God with faith, with trust. So faith is both intellectual assent, but the intellectual assent is the belief, the kind of thinking, of belief is the layer of faith, so to speak. Something and then trust it. So you need more than belief. Faith is like a thing, substance, evidence. Belief is usually you are convinced in it. So knowledge usually will help you to have belief, but through understanding will help you to have faith. First, have trust. It's not about him might do it, he might not. And many of us act from there. You know, I told you that even those of us, for example, who say Our Father, all the words you say, do you really believe them? Do you have faith in those words you are saying? That today God is going to give me my daily bread. Do you, or you are just saying them? And that's what creates the difference. If we can keep ourselves to get that level where we are saying them from a person of full trust, then we are going to see that the things that we are asking, we are going to start achieving them. But there is something more that is required as we're going to see. So we believe something to be true, but we also place trust in it. You get the difference between these two? So you need to believe, you must add trust to belief in order to have faith, in order to rely on it. So faith recognizes that, for example, the chair is designed to support the person who sits on it. And trust demonstrates the faith by actually sitting in the chair. So faith without trust is not faith. Belief without reliance is empty. Many people believe certain facts about Jesus Christ. Many of us actually do. But knowing those facts to be true is not what the Bible means by true. The biblical definition of faith requires trust in a commitment to the facts. You know that if he has said this, it will be done. Again, remind you of this. And I have put up a few things here to explain faith and belief. So faith, belief acts on what is known. So when we read and have knowledge, what? We believe that actually God is. But faith demonstrates by listening. Faith listens for God. For God to act. Because it's God who acts, not us. But because we know He's in us, we can say things and know that we act on them. So belief here brings people together. That's why people who believe together are always together. Now faith, on the other hand, isolates us in silence. I hope you get this difference. That's why believers are always together. This achievement is an alone thing, is an all-in-one thing. Just like we said, salvation cannot be achieved because you belong to a particular religion or you find a particular church. It is an individual thing. You are here on an individual assignment. So belief is good, but we must carry it to the level of faith, where we listen to God, we isolate ourselves, and in silence, we attempt to listen to God, to hear God and to talk to Him. So belief, on the other hand, excludes doubt. Now, this is something we need to, I hope the spiritual eyes are open and can help to understand that. So when you believe in something, you are sort of claiming you have no doubt. Now, faith presupposes that after a human being always has doubt, but places all trust in the Lord. While in belief, you are the one believing. So I believe you. I believe you. But in faith, you are just saying, look, all the doubts might be there in my faith, but I'm placing full trust that what you have said is it. Belief sees conviction as settled and the ultimate. That's why we have Catholics who fight to be Catholic, Muslims, Buddhists, and we call it belief. We think that the truth is done, and that's how it is. In faith, those who are faithful, if you look at people, God calls His faithful servants. In faith, there is a struggle with God. Not like, here we see God as ultimate. It's about God. It's about reaching out to God and trusting Him to do everything. Not that everything is done, some things will show up that are not, but because we have faith, we know God, the doer, the ultimate doer, always in us. Belief explains God while faith struggles with God. That's why I was saying, don't be knowledge that once you enjoy thinking, you're going to struggle. But in your struggles, you know that God is with you. God is with you. There are necessary things that you must go through in order for you to reach the destiny that you must be in. As you know, of course, in belief, we usually have groups, form the group, and faith is based on the individual. And we are saying belief is the basis of religion, while faith is the basis of our relationship with God. So it's important that we understand these two terms as we deepen our understanding and as we become masters, so that we have very, very strong belief, but also additionally we have full trust in God. We have faith that trust in source energy in whatever it is that we call God. God is not a name. God is what we call ultimate power, the Almighty. Remember, have wisdom. Have whatever you can name cannot be God. God cannot be named. You cannot start and because everything in the world is God. When you say God and other things are not God, you have not. That cannot be, because God is everything. Everything the world was created by. The world on earth and heaven was created by. So that who created cannot even be named. But we attempt to have names like the Almighty, God, just describing the ultimate being or source energy or source power. That's where everything comes from. So we're saying we must have faith in it. Okay, I hope that's questions as well. So we are saying that remember, for us who are seeing and have faith in Jesus or believe from Jesus, we have this understanding that Jesus died for our sins, and our sin was not to believe that we are one with God, that we are children of God. Now people make a lot of fuss about people dying, like there is some secret sin that we did that is there, but we say that human is created from their godliness. Human beings are gods, are children of God, and they are gods by in their own right. Even in the Old Testament, Jesus, when they were prescribing, what crime have I done? He asked, is it written in your law that all you are gods? So it is that disparity that is there between us and God, that Jesus said, so that the people of that God, they said that is very what cannot be. A man said that you are son of God, yet that was the truth. So if that truth is what made Jesus die for you, how many of you are claiming it that you are children of God, you are sons of God? And because he did it and he was able to correct as we believe, we say that we are under grace now. We are no longer under the law. We say by grace, it is by grace that we have been saved. But that saving can only come to you through faith. If you don't have faith, my dear, nothing. Even if you pray transnight, many of us go to church, we're on the phone. Many of us go to church, we are abusing our people. Many of us are in church, we have grudges with our spouses. Many of us are in church, we can't talk to our brothers and sisters. There are many things we do against the faith of God. Our oneness with God and the oneness of every human being with God. That's why we are called to be brothers and sisters. That's why we are called to forgive. Because you are forgiving yourself, you're not forgiving any other person. Everyone is the same. We are all one with God. We are the expressions of God here on earth, and we as humans, we are the superior expressions that God has said will come and take over this world and give glory, give him a good reflection of the power that he has put within us. But faith, from its original understanding, if you look at, we say these words need to be understood from their biblical foundation. The Bible was written in Hebrew, in Greek. Now, in Hebrew, faith is called emuna. Emuna, I hope that is the right pronunciation. Now, emuna, it means persevering. Emuna, or faith, means persevering, that you believe something and you have trust and you persist in that trust. That is what faith is. So real faith means keeping on without any doubt, persevering. That if you say this is what I want, or this is what I want, and what my prayer is what I want, You know, they say, no, said, believe in it. Believe that it's already yours. You believe it is yours. So you must, for you to have faith, you must persist in it. You must persist in that belief. You must persist in that understanding that you already have it until you get it. It is the law. Even in the laws of the universe, we look at this. It is the law, and once you understand that, even in Greek, so the Greek word for faith in the New Testament is the word the pistis or pisteo, and Soviet translation does believe, but not originally have the heavy connotation of intellectual assent that we have in belief. But faith is that trust and reliance on the I am presence. Remember, we said we are all I am. That's why you introduce yourself as I am. I am so and so. I am. The other things change after I am. So the I am is the God in you, and that I am is the presence of Christ in you. And Christ says, "Those who believe in me, I will be in them, and those who have me in them, they will." Actually, the word on, they use the word on or from, and it's different from in. Though in the Bible there is a lot of translation that takes it in. That rivers of living water will flow from them. You have to understand it very well. It's that trust and reliance on the I am presence, which is the Christ within you. You have to know God lives in you, that when you meet God, and you know that He has been reflecting us, we are a reflection of Him, but He has sent His own Son, someone to us, and He came and died on the cross, so that He can show that you and God are one. Like He said, I and the Father are one. That you have that full trust and confidence. And that God is the I am presence, which is within you, which is the real Christ within you. And that's why we talk about the Christ consciousness. So real faith is mastering the Christ consciousness, which is more the I am within you, and it's the power of God working in you, working in every man, working in everything that exists in this world. So emuna, as we have said, the real meaning, the word in Hebrew that means faith, is less about knowing and more about doing. Actually, they tell us that emuna literally means take firm action. Because if you know, for example, that they tell us the people who have faith, if, for example, you believe, you know that you're going to have a child, you demonstrate faith by even start stopping, you know. Yeah, those things you believe you have to do actions that show you actually believe it. So faith is about taking firm action, not just action, but firm action. So to have faith is actually to act. Remember, we said the creation process is usually three things: thoughts, feelings, and then action. Actually, our faith is the actions that we take. Are you acting in the way, or like someone who really believes, who knows that they already have what they are saying, that God will answer? God answers. So faith, we are saying the other time we give the example of a chair, that you see a chair and you believe it's good to sit on it, but you demonstrate your faith in it by sitting on it. But faith here we are saying it's also like a staircase or steps in a house. You may intellectually know that the stairs go up to the next level, like you believe God works, but until you climb the stairs, you won't experience the next level. So many of us believe that God gives, but we have not taken faith by saying God gives this. It's us to act. We have to act on it. So that acting on it is the real faith. So belief alone is not enough, ladies and gentlemen. We cannot live on belief. We must go to the next level of acting. The knowledge of what God can do, what God is not enough. We must live that knowledge, because we are the ones who are on this planet to exercise that knowledge and that power. So what you do here, what we are saying, what you do is more important than what you know. In other words, faith is more important than belief. Don't just believe in the stairs. Same with the stairs. Don't just believe that God you can command things and they be using the power of God. Do the actual commanding. The question is, what have you ever commanded? Have you ever commanded anything in this life? Have you got a pain and you have commanded it to disappear? Have you commanded any lack to become into plenty? But it's you, and nobody is going to do that for you. So what do you need to change today to ensure that your faith was defined by what you do instead of what you know? So this is the prayer that we need to pray, my brothers and sisters. That we must move from knowing God, knowing, saying this is what God can do, to acting as God requires of us, acting on that faith, on that belief, so that we have faith. And the question I'm putting to you today is ask yourself what you would need to change today in order to ensure that your faith was defined by what you did instead of what you know. Many of us go around claiming, only claiming. We are saying today we should be doing. Ask yourself, what did I do? Did I command the day? Did I command the sickness to go? Did I command money to come? Did I command my year? Did I command my week? What did I do? What did I do? It's about what you're doing. Faith you're doing. And we are saying that even God, now this is why this mastery committed time to stand together, to put light out here. That God cannot do anything against your faith, because He created people as Him, as free beings in His own image and likeness. So God cannot do anything against your faith, ladies and gentlemen. Even if you pray, even if you pray the whole day, God is not looking at your prayers, at your words. Remember, when the first session we had, we said, it's not the prayers that work, but the knowledge behind the prayers. So God is looking for the faith behind your prayers. And God actually, the doing is by your faith. It's your faith that is working. God is already a loving Father who has created everything for you, but for you praying, you must have pure faith that He gives you what it is that you want. So if you remember throughout the Bible, the miracles that Jesus did were all based on what others had or did show their faith. When they said people were hungry, we asked them, what do you have? And it's from what they had that. And He said, distribute it. You see that? He prayed, gave thanks, but He demonstrated faith by saying, distribute it. Now, many of us pray and believe and then stop there, we don't do any action. Faith is the call on us to go beyond prayer and belief. Start doing actions that show that we really, really have the trust in God. And you have to know that God is waiting on your faith. Okay? God is waiting on your faith. These are things, tell people that your faith has go. When people come to Him and say, He knows this. He will say to people the faith that has been them, not Him. Because for Him, He has already hit everyone. He wants everyone to be okay. But it is your faith, the way you go to Him, that He will. So today I am here to pray for all of you, pray for all people listening to this, pray for people attending to this, that you may have great faith in God, and may your faith in God grant your desire, and may you grow in this faith. So we need to return to belief and faith in God. Where your faith says yes, God cannot say no. This is the ultimate truth, ladies and gentlemen. Where your faith says God is ever-present Father, loving Father, not that He says no at any time, unless your faith is not for you or it's not for you. Remember, a single so will be done. You also have to remember this. You don't just go and say, give me the whole Uganda or the whole country, everything. It has to be in line of your calling. You also have to understand what your calling is, what you're meant to do, and that you're also doing it for your good and for the good of others. Don't believe God for small things. Do what we get. To request that you prepare, read for us this verse, Mark 5:33-34, and to join me in believing God for big things. Because many of you, from what we've been discussing, you want to see a change in your life. But we're saying trust in God, and the time it's God who knows. You don't need a crowd to move God. What matters is what you say to yourself. What you say to yourself in your mind. Remember, we said faith is individual. Faith is God. What you tell yourself matters most. So much as I don't qualify. Remember, there is this lady who had, I think in Uganda they call it a chikurukuto, had a breathing problem. Huh? Women were not, it was considered sacrilege even for them to appear in public. Huh? This woman did not, have the chance to come near Jesus. Huh? But she told herself that much as she doesn't confide, the told in the Bible, much as I don't confide to, in the crowd, let alone be near the she said she has a strategy. Because they won't allow me, but if only I can touch his garment, that she will go within the crowd there and touch his garment. And once she convinced herself, she pressed through the crowd and touched the hem of Jesus' gown. And the rest is what happened. The Bible says that power left Jesus. Huh? Now, many were near Jesus and touched him. Huh? They were all, even Peter tried to sort of, but Master, how can you, since everybody is touching, how can you say who is touching you? Huh? But all the people who were rubbing shoulders, even those did not count. What counted was the faith with which they are touching Jesus. So this lady touched Jesus with, they tell us, with a faith that must be healed. And the power left Jesus. So the touch of faith healed this woman. And it's that touch of faith. And it is your faith, not the faith of the man of God, not the faith of the bishop, not the faith of the master, not the faith of the priest or imam, not the faith of the Lord, whatever, of the president that will save you. Your own faith. Not the faith of the whole church, your own faith. With which faith are you going to God? And faith is an assurance, is evidence. You must go to God fully. You trust, and you have the you must see the evidence that is actually one. Luke 5:17-24 will also read for us, so that really we can ground ourselves in this. We have already said about the centurion. This is one for one, so that we can also in healing, like we have said, that Jesus said that when he sees your sins have been forgiven because of your faith. Faith is always at work. Faith is always at work. All the things are possible, all who love and believe in the Lord. But they must have the faith that they are believing in is already at hand. That's why when you say the kingdom of God is at hand, you have to know it, that God is here and now and with you and ever with you. And you must express God by faith, knowing that whatever it is that you have been touched in your heart to do is already yours. So we serve and are part of the living God. It's what many of us proclaim. So let's stop the cries, let's stop the tears, the worries, the concerns, and raise our faith to God. We are not waiting upon God. Masters know that we are not waiting upon God, it is God waiting upon you. God is waiting upon you to see your faith and how you raise up your faith. And I thought I would do, as we conclude, that I can, I had to put this, the way Hebrews 1:11 is explained by the Amplified Version, the Bible, so that you really get to understand what this faith is. Now, remember they saying faith now is the assurance. Now, assurance in the Amplified Version, they are saying it is the title deed, the confirmation of things hoped for. It's like you have the title. Those of you who own land, you know that our land here is divided into tenants and landlords who have the title. The real owner has the title. So the assurance that in faith is like the title. You have the chapa, they call it here in Uganda. That the things that I hope to get, I already have the title deed for it. I already have the confirmation. It's not that they are coming, but I have it. That is what faith is. And the evidence of things not seen. Now, the evidence of things not seen, in the Amplified Version, they tell us it is the conviction of their reality. That you already see them. We say in the law of assumption. See it. It's a car, you touch it. Before even you make one shilling. See the car, open it. What color is it? Which type of car, by the way? How big is it? What type? How does it look like? When you sit in it, move in it, drive it, do a test drive in it, or have yourself doing it. You must see things, you must have that evidence before things can come to you. So it is your sense of evidence that works. But many of us, unfortunately, our evidence is in what we call the sense evidence. We believe in the five senses of touch, feel, smell. Yet that's why we started with the power of the invisible, and to understand the power of God in us. That things happen after they have been created somewhere else. Then we can see them in the sense evidence. Those of us acting on the sense evidence do not have faith. And I'm telling you, as I have learned, as I've been taught, that the worst enemy of faith is sense evidence. The other day I was telling people, take what they want, and that God is within them. Someone said, turn this soda into milk, and then we know. I said, you see? God himself, the Satan was telling him and said, this is not good to a test. If you rely on sense evidence, you will never create anything in this world. And you will live on the evidence created by people who trusted God through their faith and created the physical things that we're talking about. Because all physical things come from non-physical things. This we discussed when we did the session on the power of the unseen. So God is, they tell us, Jesus said, God is grieved by our unbelief. When Jesus walked on water, they tell us, Peter saw him and said, Lord, call me so that I can also walk. And he started walking, and as he walked, got some doubt, and then started. Your unbelief, why do you have unbelief? So our unbelief is what we need to part with. That doubt that comes in that it can't be, that it might not be. The thing that puts conditions that I must think like this in order for God to do. You must place your full trust in God. And in Hebrews 11:20, this is clearly explained. When we're told that Jesus would always ask before even we go to Hebrews 11:20, because that's Paul, that Jesus would always ask, do you believe I can do it? Remember those instances, so many of them. Do you believe I can do this? And if you say yes, then let it be as you have said. The centurion came to Jesus not with doubt. He knew that Jesus would do it. Every good thing you want from God, God is waiting on you to see the level of faith, the heaviness of your faith. Is your faith 1 kilogram, 1 gram, 100 kilograms? It's the same. Remember I told you that God is like an ocean, a lake. If you go there with a cup, you get out a cup. You go with a spoon, you get out a spoon. You go with a 10-liter jerrycan, you get out a 10-liter jerrycan. You go with a 20-liter, it's what you get. A small drum, a big drum. It's how everybody is. And it's not about chant, not about shouting and praying. It's about what is within your heart. You know, we said God resides within your heart, and you cannot deceive God. You cannot, you tell us God is not mocked. God sees exactly the faith in your heart. If you don't believe, if you are just saying things and don't believe, they will not come to be. But when you put some level of belief, God will give you as per your faith, as your true belief. Okay, so remember they say God confirms the counsel of his messenger. We are his messengers. Did God send us here? Now, many of us are always looking for those messengers, like for us, we are not. This earth is a colony of heaven. God sent us here to colonize the earth and to do everything as he would do it by himself. We are the active power of God on earth. And God expects us to do everything and achieve everything as he would, because we are his. We are his representatives. Actually, the Quran calls them vice agents. We are his vice agents or vigilance, and I think that's how they pronounce it. So it's us to up our level to that level of understanding and belief, but adding trust so that we have faith. Ladies and gentlemen, as we conclude today, my call is simple, that we can all supercharge. Nobody has no faith or belief, but that we can supercharge and supersize our faith in the Lord through our words, through your words. Remember, we said the word create. Words are the creative power. It's where how the creative power is expressed. So if you want to have a lot of faith, it must be seen in the words you tell yourself, but also that you say to others and in others, to the world. Those words carry God's energy direct from your heart, from the real I am that resides within you. So let us change our words. We already talked about the power of words. But this time we are saying, let them be based on true faith, the true trust in God. True trust in God. Because we are knowledgeable and we have knowledgeable words, the words that we say should be based on that I am spiritual power, the Christ in you, and that's the Christ consciousness. Okay, because we are saying that we faith in the kingdom of God, because this is God's kingdom, and the kingdom of God is within us. But it's also what we express in this world, because what out comes from within. Remember the laws of the universe, we say, as within, so without. As within, so without. It is the law. What is manifested outside, what is manifesting so far today is what is within. So we need to supercharge and increase our faith. Because Jesus' mission on earth, now, was to communicate this divine sonship. And sonship here is used to mean the result of the Father, not necessarily the of the sonship of all humans, and why we must always have faith and trust in Almighty God. Because Jesus' victory and is ours. The way he won over everything, he also said that now we are told we are the hairs, but are we really lifting the hairs of God's throne? That is the key question. That is the key question. And I'm sharing 2 verses here as we conclude, that we are of God, my little children, and have overcome them, because greater is he that is in you than he that is in the world. Remember, we are spirit, we are the I am that is living in a human body, come here to express God. And that's why we go back there. We have always remember that. One of the things, command things, using the power of God. And that power needs to be backed by faith, by a high level of belief, trust. Okay, in Mark 8:16, God reminds us that many things are taken by the world. As we go around, even as we do these lessons, people are saying, what I see here? Yes, can I have this? So it says, what shall it profit the man if he shall gain the whole world and lose his own soul? Now, remember, your soul is the connection between your actual world. The soul is your mind, the mind which contains the brain and the heart. It's your main active organ. It's what separates you from other people. In spirit, we are all united. Now, that you must maintain it. You must maintain it. You must maintain it so that you can have it. You must maintain it pure and with full knowledge that it is one with God. Its existence is based on God, which is spirit, so that you can live to a true heritage. You can, benefit from your sonship to God and live a commanding life the way Jesus showed us, and live everything, including death, the way. So that is what I prepared for you. I hope I have been able in this session to share a few insights on belief and faith, the difference between them, and the importance of empowering our belief into trust and having faith and keep growing that faith, and that faith is the consistency of belief, perseverance, and that when we believe, we must keep there in that position, not to shift, and God will come to it. It's why we see most successful people will tell you that I persevered. They tell us that success is 2% hard work, 98% perseverance, persistence, or perspiration. Even in the actual world, it's the same principle. All successful people, they tell you why they succeeded, they stayed there, they kept there. When others lost hope and lost trust and left, for them they kept there. That's why they've been able to come up with this company. So God always answers to the trust. Because of this trust, it does not matter what religion you are, how you serve. God is God, and God is expressed himself through all humans. So I hope that today we can commit ourselves, we discover ourselves and our oneness with God, but through that, have real belief, have real trust in God, and have a huge faith in everything that we put to the Lord, that we go there with huge faith, that God will see it through, so that we can live to our true divine heritage. I wish you God's continued blessing. Take questions and we'll go to this verses that we have given. Thank you for your time and attention. Okay, any questions?
Hello.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you, Master, for the great sharing. At some point, you said, when we are asking in faith and believing, we of course have to remember the Lord's Prayer of your will be done in heaven, and so that you don't ask for things like the whole world. So in other words, you're saying we have to ask accordingly. So how do you know that particular will so that you can ask accordingly? How do we know God's will? For example, I could have really a lot that I want to ask, which is okay, I believe. But then on the other hand, you talked of according to his will. So how are we to note that according to his will and be able to ask in his will, but also exactly what we want, and in faith, so that we get what we have asked for? Thank you.
Okay, thank you. That's such a brilliant question. I like that actually you do follow and you take this important, sort of junction in what we are saying, so that we tune them together. Now, remember, we shall have a session on the will, the power of will, and the will of God and our own will. And that without will, you cannot do anything. Even without will, you cannot have faith. Now, we're saying, remember, we have to know the will of God. It's why we started in the foundation in Genesis. God commanded us, humans, that we fruitful, multiply, replenish, and then have dominion. Now, if you understand those four things, I think we shall have time to. Because the secrets of the kingdom are all there. After God created man, he gave him the order, the absolute law, the absolute command that will be followed. Now, for you to know that what you wish for in God's will is if it's fulfilling those what? Those four. And we are going to have also what multiplying, fruitfulness. But at the time, that fruitfulness is about that you have a seed within you, which will create other similar seeds. And those seeds should give for the benefit of others. Remember, we are one. In the knowledge of I am, when we know God, that's why Jesus called us his brother and sister. He even says we are coherent. We are one with God, all of us, everybody is your brother and sister. Even said, let know that even if you are coming to bring a present, an offer to me, if you have any grievance against any of my children, don't come. First drop any of your brothers, don't come. First put it there, then come to me. So God's will is that we are here, we love each other, but also we do things that serve others, so that in serving others, we also benefit ourselves. Now, once you know that God's will, so your prayers should be focused on that. That your needs, your desires, they should be desires that, if they are in God's will, they should be those desires that are creating fruitfulness, that they will result in a fruitful a fruitful Timothy, that other people can eat of their fruit. They will result in Timothy multiplying the fruit, so that as many people can benefit. They will result in Timothy replenishing the fruit, that fruit is getting more power, so that it doesn't run out. They will result in Timothy taking over the world, see that great fruit in conquering the world. So once you remember that, then you always, your desires will always be aligned with God. In other words, service to others is the ultimate fruitfulness, is the ultimate will of God, but also to show his greatness. Show God's greatness through you by serving others. I hope I have been able to answer that, or I have answered it. You know, the word of God, remember, I said, God, you cannot finish him. So I'm not saying what I'm giving is the final answer, the only answers within exams, in meditation. No, it is the perspective that I understand from the knowledge that God has granted me, the wisdom that and understanding that God has granted me, in which I'm explaining to again put up light. Remember, we are sharing light. Throw more light, more clarity, so that you can walk in the light, manifest or desire in a way that will give glory to God, and therefore with faith, make sure that those things you desire to give glory to God will come to pass. Make sense?
Yes, Master, it does. Thank you. I love the bit of in service of others and also to the glory of God.
Yes, exactly. That's why if you have that knowledge, so also your needs when they come up, that's why owning a car is not really, unless it's going to drive you to where? Huh? I hope you get it. I don't want to belabor it. Huh?
Yes, yes.
Hey, unless it's going to result in fruitfulness for others, not
Yes.
really in the line of God,
Okay.
of serving the world.
All right.
Any other question?
Yes, another one.
Yes.
So, would you say that it really is a question of faith why we see so many people not having and suffering? We look at some of the churches, and some of the people you would say are so faithful are among those who are actually in the majority of lacking and needing and not getting things. I would say, especially here, I'm looking at the material fruitfulness, even taking care of their basic needs to a point of comfort. So when we look at in some of the churches, you look at some of those people who you clearly would imagine they are really faithful. And some to the even to a fault that they even go along with what their pastors say. But that I think is all an exhibition of showing how much they have believed, how much they have fought, how much they have believed. So would you really say that it's a question of these people still there is still a lack of faith as to why they are not having the prayers and getting to levels of comfort in their lives? Or I would also say that it's a question of maybe the world at some point, there is that verse that says that Satan is the god of this of age or this world and the limitations that are still existing. There is one time you told me that yes, that because of being in a human body, there's going to be some limitations. And so
Yes.
maybe there is a question of some of those things, but I think people really believe and have faith, but they don't seem to have gotten their answers.
Um, so it is sort of answered part of it, which is very good. You see, the challenge in this world is people is claiming and the wrong claiming. There is claiming in the power of God with faith, which is right. But there is also claiming, for example, that people who go to church and sleep in church have faith. It is not true. We've just had a session of showing what faith is. Faith is individual. So for you to say that these people have faith, you cannot know whether someone has faith or not. Faith is the thing between someone and God, how much they trust God. And remember, it's a question of how much. It's not that you have it or not. Are we together? So you can have it and you have one, and another one has 80. Now you can have 80 but lose it in 1 minute. Remember, we said faith is a perseverance, is an insistence. You have to keep there. So if your faith, for example, is that for me, if I have 2 clothes, they're enough. It's what your faith is. God will answer you according to that. God is looking for our faith. what you are trusting him with is what will come. And now, not for this lesson, but also let's not say the people who have less physical or material things are less successful in life. That is another illusion. Another illusion and delusion. There are people who have matured, they know that physical things are not much of anything, and they are comfortable. But there are also those who miss them when they need them. Now it depends. Remember, it's about you and God and what you're asking. Some people are asking for healing. Some people are asking for a relationship, not just material things. Some people are asking for knowledge. Whatever it is that you are asking, you must trust that God can give it to you, and after has already given it to you. Now, if you do that, that's when you have faith. And we are saying that is individual. It's not about going to church. It's not about putting on the heaviest rosary. It's not about moving around with a cross in both hands. It's not about putting on a particular cloth or clothing or garment. No. It's about an individual relationship with God and how much trust you put in God, and that you cannot show it off. You cannot say, that person trusts the Lord. So this is an individual thing. But also, let everyone live their life. It's not that those who have less God or less trust, less faith in God. It could be what they have trusted God with, and God has given them that. So we should be comfortable with asking God what we want, without looking at others, and trusting that we will grant that which we have asked. And many times, once you achieve it, of course, there will be another thing to achieve. So long as you're still in this life, there is always something to achieve. That's why you focus on physical things is very discouraging. Nobody can be, because you're a spirit being, nobody can be satisfied with physical things. But it's good that both people go through the process of desiring physical things and getting them, so that they can learn them, and they get to learn that they don't live in fantasy, and then be able to mature to the level where they can even live with less, God, and do God's will, which is God's will is serving others and living in a way that gives glory to God. Makes sense?
Yes, Master.
Any other question?
Yes, I think this is the final one. A very wonderful, as you are concluding, you gave us some very wonderful slide on Jesus' victory being ours. So what he came to communicate indeed was that divine sonship of all humans, and how we can also achieve with him working in us. However, is this the earth? The earth is not the paradise, is it? Because if what he came to show is it that if yes, indeed, with the I am, him working in us as I am, getting things happen, making things fruitful and multiplying and everything really working out so well, would that would mean then it's the earth that is supposed to be turned into such a place? But definitely there is the second coming, there is another new heaven, new earth, and all that. So if the idea now is that we work that on earth as it is now as his agents, is that really to bring that kind of paradise-like life, or that's a life that can only be expected later on, the afterlife, of where there is no crying, no suffering, no desiring of this and that and not having? So with the faith we have, is it really to create that environment, or the environment that we still have has to be as earth, whereby not much of this miraculous, and not only miraculous, but also believing and the faith that causes things to really be so good on earth?
Okay. Now, if I've got the question correctly, what you have to know That's why I really encourage you people listening to this, listen to all our other sessions, because these things connect to each other and they are proper that we understand them. Now we are saying that the heaven, remember what we say above, as above, so below. Remember the Lord, as within, so without. Huh? As above, so below. So above is the heaven, but the heaven in earth must be reflected on earth. So actually, that's why they say heaven on earth. We are here as human beings on an assignment to create heaven on earth. Earth is the school for spirits to come and create heaven. Huh? So that the spirits, when it goes back to the only spirit world, they can really live in that paradise. But otherwise, we are expected to create that earth here. So, the heaven here. So that we fulfill that as above, so below. God, that's why God has bring us in image and likeness, and to have dominion, and given us all things that we need, but to come and grow unto ourselves with our free will, to express and call things into being, and at different times and different purposes, be able to bring these things into being. So yes, the earth is earth, it has its issues. Remember, we are also in the human body, which is finite, not infinite. But it's like the exam, you see. If everybody enters the exam with the papers, probably they will pass. They knew everything. But we are here to master, to have that listening. Remember, we're saying effective listening to God. To sit in silence, listen to God, and have guided actions, which is faith. We said faith is action. And be able to achieve. Now, when you are on earth, then you have fulfilled your job here on earth. Because remember, we are saying heaven, earth is the colony of heaven. And in a colony, we're expected to act the way they act in. Just like, I don't want to talk about colonization. Perhaps from the Norway to that's a lot. Now that we come at all, we are also young people, they probably didn't know what they are doing. But we speak English partly because we are colonized by English. You dress ties because you are. Now, in a colony, you act. You wonder if follows the what? The British system. When someone colonizes you, they want to act. So God sent us here. God has put things above beings. Heaven above means above, and of a higher understanding, a higher realm. It's not really like a place. Sometimes we understand it like one place. God is everything. Before space and place appears, God is already in. So we're saying at a higher realm, at a higher understanding, at a higher dimension. We are now here in a lower dimension. Come and prove that we can make it. Because we trust in the power of God, of the source, of our Father. And what we achieve well here, then we are well in the other world. And when we don't, because when we go back there, we know our power. The souls, they are keep trying to come back so that they can do it well. And so that they can mature and go to much, much higher and higher dimension. Towards those that are near the Christ himself. That's why I'm saying, when you have the Christ consciousness, you know that you are one with God. It is the most open secret that the human being is one with God. The human being is God. Like they say, God of small letter. Though that is really for human, for human understanding and religious rightness. But you see, like we said, a human being is like the drop of water in the ocean, from the ocean. They tell us, is it different from all the water is it different from the ocean? It's the same. It's the same. Every drop, the ocean is in every drop of water, just like there are many drops, because also the ocean is made up of drops of water. Without those drops of water, there would not be an ocean. So are we to the source, that the source multiplied into different elements to create everything else, including trees, mountains, lakes, rivers, everything. And we are here to show that we can maintain that oneness. And once we achieve it, once we remember it and achieve it and live it, live without going off it. That's what we are saying, faith. Faith means you are unwavering. We call it unwavering faith. You keep on it, you know it. Every time you are facing difficulties, you know that my God will handle this. God is in charge. Every time you face a bad situation, you know that it does not matter. People were killed, like the martyrs. They know that it does not matter because they are one with God. And they are achieving victory. Now you know later what he did. They are being prayed to him, and as the middle messenger. That knowing, for now it has to be on earth here. We must live well on earth. We must live a fruitful life. Jesus said he came so that we can live life and live it to the fullest. So in a sense, I don't want to go into philosophy, but in a sense, heaven is on earth. It's our job to bring heaven to earth because we are of heaven. Remember, we read the verse there. You are not of the world, but you are in the world. So where we come from is not the world, it is heaven. But we must come here and create heaven on earth by, following God's will, which is to learn to live together, live as one, and live together with our brothers and sisters, live together with the environment, with the animals, with everything else as one being, and understand that we are different parts of the same body. Like Jesus said, we are all part of the body of Christ. But this planet, this earth, is our playground, is our school, where souls must work out, must study, must demonstrate that they can master that Christ consciousness. They can master that oneness with God and live a life of service and create a victory, not just for themselves, but for others, because the victory of one is victory for others, for all others. Just like we are saying, Christ's victory is our victory. Makes sense?
Yes, Master. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. So can you read for us those verses so we conclude?
Okay. I got Mark chapter 5 from verse 33 to 34.
Yes.
Then the woman, knowing what happened, I beg your pardon, Mark chapter 5, verse 33 to 34. Then the woman, knowing what had happened to her, came and fell at his feet, and trembling with fear, told him the whole truth. He said to her, "Daughter, your faith has healed you. Go in peace and be freed from your suffering." That's Mark chapter 5, 33 to 34.
Yes. So it's what we are saying, that it is you to go with your faith. God is waiting on your faith. Yes, the next verse?
It was chapter 5, verse 17 of which book?
Mark. Was it? Luke 5, 17, 24.
Luke 5, 17 to 24.
Yes.
Luke chapter 5, verse 17 to 24. Okay. Okay, it's here, Luke chapter 5, from verse 17. Jesus forgives and heals a paralyzed man.
Yes.
One day, Jesus was teaching, and Pharisees and teachers of the law were sitting there. They had come from every village of Galilee and from Judea and Jerusalem, and the power of the Lord was with Jesus to heal the sick. Some men came carrying a paralyzed man on a mat and tried to take him into the house to lay him before Jesus. When they could not find a way to do this because of the crowd, they went up on the roof and lowered him on his mat through the tiles into the middle of the crowd, right in front of Jesus. When Jesus saw their faith, he said, "Friend, your sins are forgiven." The Pharisees and the teachers of the law began thinking to themselves, "Who is this fellow who speaks blasphemy? Who can forgive sins but God alone?" Jesus knew what they were thinking and asked, "Why are you thinking these things in your hearts? Which is easier to say, 'Your sins are forgiven,' or to say, 'Get up and walk'? But I want you to know that the Son of Man has authority on earth to forgive sins." So he said to the paralyzed man, "I tell you, get up, take your mat, and go home." Immediately he stood up in front of them, took what he had been lying on, and went home praising God. Everyone was amazed and gave praise to God. They were filled with awe and said, "We have seen remarkable things today."
Thank you. So remember, this faith is a journey, is an action. It does not, it is not the picture you are saying that people are faithful, like wake up and just go to church. You have to do much more. These people didn't have where to pass. Remember the other woman who had the blood problem? You have to struggle. You have to show through your actions. That's why actions are our way of struggle. Actions are the way we show our faith. You have to struggle to show your faith. And once God sees its level, whatever level it is, then you are forgiven. Now, remember you're saying, may your sins, that your sins have been forgiven. Sin, we say sin, you have to understand what sin is. Sin is you have missed the mark. So faith, actually, lack of faith is sin. Once we have faith, then our sin is forgiven. I hope really don't lose that as we end this. That what we need to be forgiven of all our sins, transgressions, because you cannot transgressions are the things we commit against others. You cannot do it if you know that you're one with them, and that God will give you everything you want. Because many times we struggle against others or we injure them, wanting to get things from them. But a person of faith, a person in knowledge, knows that they are one with God and they can achieve everything. There is no need of hurting or going or wishing another one bad. And if after all another is also you. We are all I or you. I or you. So we are called to really express faith. This is why we are here on this planet. Show our belief in God, but a belief based on trust and have faith, so that we can do away with the sin that was started when that so-called serpent removed the faith from our great grand that only know like God when you do this. That brought him doubt. But before that, they were one with God. They were working at the same level. They knew anytime you ask God, you go inside and you ask, and God answers. And then this Satan brought in that doubt. And it's what Jesus has come to restore in us. That it is you to trust, it is you to believe. It's not about God doing it. It's about you doing the actions that show your trust and the ever-present love and power of God. As we conclude today, I pray that as we go through life on earth, that we may have the power and the ability to remember that power and know that that power emanates directly from God, of the Almighty, the source energy, of the start of all things, the Father, and that power ours call upon any time, and that if we believe and trust and defend that trust, in other words, have faith, we can achieve all it is that we want and live a life of glory, a life that gives glory to God, a life that empowers us as individuals, but also empowers others so that the whole world, the whole earth can proclaim the goodness of God. Thank you for the time. Thank you for the active participation. We meet again on Monday in another session. Please share these things with others so that they can also be blessed with this knowledge, with this reflection, one person at a time. We owe it ourselves to serve others. May you stay blessed. Thank you.